guys, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my wrap up from February and March, and I high-key am not going to do, not wrap up, a haul from February and March. And I'm high-key not going to do these as often because I always feel pressure to buy a ton of books because I see so many booktubers doing monthly hauls, but I am not in a financial situation to do continuous monthly hauls. So I'm going to be doing these less and less, probably like within the span of like 2 to 3 months, and then we will go from there. So that way I have more books to like share with you guys rather than my normal like 5 or 2. But let's get into it. So the first book that I bought between the months of February and March is a book that I don't currently have because my sister is reading it and I think she took a copy with her, but I do have the cover, and that is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, the Counterintuitive Way to Living Life approach, and by Mark Manson. Now this is a self-help book that essentially kind of teaches you the ways of not caring and choosing things that you need to care about so that way you are not in a position where life kind of sucks for you all the time and you kind of have no control over it, and kind of puts into perspective in a lot of situations that we do have control over and taking it back that way. I've already read this and I loved it, so I will leave my review and any other reviews for books that I have read and have finished within these past 2 months down below, but if I forget, please let me know. The next book is one that I'm like a little confused to why I bought first, because I haven't read the Iliad yet, but I bought the Odyssey. But that is The Odyssey by Homer, translated by Emily Wilson. Now, I have read several reiterations of the Odyssey and the Iliad, but I need to pick up the Iliad first before I read the Odyssey. Anyway, I have never once read the, is it verse? No. The version that isn't in prose, so poems. I've never read the Homeric hymns, I believe it's what it's called. It's whatever. So I bought this copy thinking that I was going to read it, and then I realized that it only involves the Odyssey and not the Iliad, which I need. So I'm excited to pick this up sometime soonish after I pick up the Iliad, and let's just talk about how shiny this is, because this is really shiny. And I mean, Madeline Miller also blurbed it, so I think if this author had translated the Iliad, I'll go ahead and pick that up as well. But I'm excited to pick this up, like, soonish, because I've been on a weird Greek myth binge recently. It's fine. The next book that I bought was actually one that I've already read and have reviewed, so I will leave that link down below as well, and that is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is Taylor Jenkins Reid's newest release, and is going to be an Amazon series, which I'm excited for. But essentially this follows the band Daisy Jones and the Six, and for years no one has known why they broke up when they did, just that they broke up kind of at the peak of their career, and now about like 20-ish years later, several decades later, they are now coming together to tell their story in the form of an oral history / interviews, if you don't know. Like I said, I did review it. I enjoyed this book heavily. I think that it is a masterpiece, and I can't wait for the Amazon series to come out so that way I can go ahead and enjoy the actual songs as well as the characters, but I will leave the review with all my spoilery and non-spoilery thoughts down below. So keep an eye out. So go ahead and watch that if you want more information. The next book that I bought is Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson. I have watched the movie of this, but I've never read the book. Granted, I didn't know it was a book until like a couple years ago, but I didn't know how I was going to react to reading the book, and I think I'm in a place to pick it up. However, this does have a trigger warning for sexual assault and rape, and this follows Melinda, who has been sexually assaulted her freshman year of high school, and after the event, she has never been really able to talk. No one has talked to her because she ended up calling the cops, I believe. Yeah, she called the cops on an end-of-the-year party. No one will talk to her, no one will listen to her after the event, so she just kind of has stayed quiet. And she has found that art is a way for her to talk about the assault that had happened to her. Like I said, I've seen the movie, but I have never seen I've never read the book. So I'm excited to pick this up and then rewatch the movie and cry over it, because this was a very emotional kind of novel. and that way I can go ahead and pick up Laurie Halls Anderson's next book, which I forgot the title of. The next book that I bought is one that I'm pretty excited to read, and that is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. This is the book that kind of inspired Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, and this follows Kath, who has been writing fan fiction for Simon Snow for as long as she can remember, and then she goes to university where her professor thinks like fan fiction is the bane of everyone's existence and should never exist and is not considered real writing, as well as a boy who has taken an interest in her. And now she has to choose between whether or not she wants to remain in this fan fiction writing world or if she wants to leave it all behind and kind of live her life, so to speak. And it has green sprayed edges, so I'm excited. But I have heard nothing but great things about this. My friend Sam has been trying to get me to read it for a hot minute now, so I think it's time that I pick this up sometime soon so I can pick up Carry On. The next novel that I bought is actually a middle grade novel that I've already read and reviewed, so again, you know where to look. But that is Everlasting Nora by Marie Miranda Cruz. Like I said, this is a middle grade novel, and we follow 12-year-old Nora as she and her mother make her way through life after the events of her house burning down and her losing her father that have resulted in both her and her mother to live in one of the biggest shanty towns in Manila, which is the North Cemetery. Now this is her trying to kind of figure out where she wants to be with her life and how to get back on track, so to speak, while also trying to figure out why her mother suddenly disappeared by enlisting the help of her friend Jojo and his grandmother. Like I said, I've already read this book and I highly enjoyed it. I thought that it was such a great way of showing the Filipino culture without necessarily glorifying it or finding a way to only show off the marvelous beaches and like all that stuff and kind of not turning it into a huge satirical kind of thing to make fun of. So like I said, I will leave my review of this down below if you want to check it out. The next book I also have a review on, surprise surprise, and that is Circe by Madeline Miller. Circe is Madeline Miller's sophomore novel, and this is a retelling of the Circe myth where we kind of see Circe walk through her life, as well as introduce us to some of the bigger figures of Greek mythology throughout her interactions. I will be having a review on this soon. I think it'll come out next Sunday, so keep an eye out for that. I think that one will be more spoiler filled as this is kind of an older myth and a retelling, so feel free to take that as you will, but I will try to involve some non-spoilery aspects of it. And yeah, that's all I can really say. The next book is a follow-up to Fangirl, and that is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. This is the book that inspired the fan fiction that Kath writes about in the book. And this follows Simon Snow, who is the worst chosen one ever. And that's not just because his roommate, who happens to be a vampire and completely evil Baz, tells him that. So I heard this was really queer and really cute, and I'm excited to go ahead and read it. And I believe my friend had already read Fangirl, but not yet Carry On. So I'm going to do it for them, and we can cry over it because they are a Nebraska native, and they are really excited to hopefully run into Rainbow Rowell in the future. The second to last book that I bought is Percy Jackson and Olympians: The Titan's Curse by Rick Riordan. This is the third book in the Percy Jackson series, and once again, a middle grade novel. We follow Percy Jackson as he and his friends kind of save the world from their sad little Greek mythology relatives yet again. Now, I want to see how this is going to go, because the second one kind of opened it up a lot to interpretation and possible like cousin rivalry, so we'll see. But I will have a review of this when I do read it. And finally, the last book is Dumplin' by Julie Murphy. Now, this follows Willow Dean Dixon? Yes, Willow Dean Dixon as she kind of wanders through life with her mother being the most well-known pageant queen in kind of Texas, while she doesn't fit that stereotype at all. She is a little bit more, I don't want to say fat, 'cause it's not an insult, but just I feel like the connotation is really bad. She is larger than what she would like, and she kind of joins this pageant to show the fact that every body type matters, and kind of rebel against this ideal notion that you have to be this one body type to be a pageant, as well as to get over her own feelings of her own kind of fatness. I've already read this book. I do have a review of it, so I will leave that link down below if you want to pick it up. But I love this so much. I thought it was a really cute contemporary read, really funny, really fluffy, and the movie was even cuter, and I think I teared up a little bit. But if you want to see more of my thoughts, like I said, it'll be down below. But that is it for the books that I bought in these past 2 months. Like I said, I think I'll be doing these hauls a little more spread out so that way I can collect books more instead of going through and be like, yeah, I have 5 books every single month. All of these reviews that are for the books that I have read will be down below. If I haven't read these books yet and you want me to pick it up, so I do have a review for you guys, let me know down below or somewhere in my social media links, all in the description. But until my next video, I will talk to you guys in the comments and everywhere else. Bye!